Our joke comes today from Nathan Lipke, and it goes like this. An object walks into a bar graph, and the admin says, "Hey, I'm going to report you." Oh, God, why do we do this?
Terrible.
Why do we do this?
Hi, I'm Brian, the Salesforce Wizard.
And I'm Mark, Salesforce Yoda.
Welcome to the Wizard News WizardCast. This is a podcast on all things Salesforce, but more importantly, it's a podcast where we sound stupid.
It's educational and entertainment. It's edutainment.
This marks our second episode without Parker Harris.
It's also our second episode, period. Wait, did we do that joke last week? Yeah, we did, didn't we? Oh, well, we'll leave it.
We meant to do the joke last week.
Are you eating cookies during the podcast?
It's my new diet. I'm finishing my fourth box of Thin Mints. I'm not sure how many more I need to eat before I actually start losing weight, though.
I don't think that's how that works, Brian. You have to eat better food, not more worse food. Seriously, what train of logic did you board for that diet?
They're called Thin Mints.
Wow. We're just on a roll with the jokes.
Mark, are you pondering what I'm pondering?
I don't know, Brian. What is the price of liposuction these days?
I don't know, Mark. I think it's time for a Salesforce tip.
Oh.
Do you know what's scary?
What?
Bad data, especially the bad data from clones. They simply come out and attack your reports and destroy you.
Whoa, it's like an attack of the clones. You'll love this week's Salesforce tip then, Brian. Because this week's Salesforce tip has to do with cloning data. Specifically, cloning well, I'm the Yoda. I'm the all ears. You can
Fine,
be...
I'm all hat.
That'll work. Okay. When you click the clone button, Brian, what typically happens?
You clone the record into a new record?
Exactly. And what gets brought over?
Everything except for the ID.
Everything. Yeah. Well, yes, except for the ID. Practically everything gets brought over.
What about those hidden fields that aren't on the page layout?
Those come over as well.
No.
Salesforce does not care. Honey, Salesforce don't care if you have data that's not on the page layout. It is going to bring that data over as well. And it also doesn't care if the data you're bringing over is wrong. It doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know it's wrong. Oftentimes, when you click clone, what you should be doing is perhaps rolling some data back to maybe another pick list entry that's like your first pick list entry. Or maybe you should be specifically ignoring certain fields that aren't on the page layout, but you've forgotten that they're there because you have 100 fields on the object, and there's 2 that are running in the background recording the date that your approval happened, and you don't want that to be brought over either.
So what can you do, Mark?
I'll tell you what you could do. As many of you may know, Brian and I are huge fans of Process Builder and Flow. Isn't that right, Brian?
That's right, Mark.
Flow is your best friend here. And the reason for that is you can call Flow from a button. You can make a new button called Clone. Just take the old Clone button off the page layout and put the new Clone button on. All you have to do is call the existing record, call only the fields that you want to clone, and create a new record just with the records that you brought in from your lookup. If you're new to Flow, this is actually a perfect example of something you can try as a beginner's flow because it's very simple. You're doing a lookup on your past ID to get the fields that you want, and then you're creating a new record with those fields. If you really want to get crazy with it, you can even bring over cross-object data like opportunity products or tasks or events that are also on the same record. If there are some of those, or you want to get really crazy, you can make your flow go find those objects as well and pull those too.
That's a great tip, Mark.
And if you need any assistance with Flow, I highly recommend going to Salesforce Trailhead.
Trailhead. That sounds like something I should know.
It's developer.salesforce.com/trailhead, one word. And this is a site which is dedicated, it is an official Salesforce site, to walking you through certain things in the Salesforce platform in an easy-to-understand fashion. They have a newly set up trail for Flow. So go check it out.
Well, thanks for that tip, Mark. You know what time it is now?
It's 4:22.
No, Mark. It's time for our weekly Yo Wiz!
Oh, wait, no, we had a recorded Yo Wiz that was submitted to us. This actually came to us from a anonymous source. There's a lot of 6s in this email address. Hang on, let's play it.
Yo Wiz.
Wow,
that was diabolical.
I'm a bit disturbed. Well, I was already a bit disturbed. Our question comes from Steve Richardson from Fusion Risk Management, and he asks, what is the right way to set up Process Builder to trigger an action from an object when a roll-up summary field changes on that object?
Oh, well, it's very difficult to answer the question because there is really no right way to build a Process Builder on the record. You could do it. Process Builder will accept it, but what you'll find out is if you do something like where the roll-up summary field is changed, it won't fire. You could do where the roll-up summary value is greater than 0, but then every time the record is edited, it's going to fire, unless you mark that little don't only fire when it subsequently meets criteria, and then it'll just fire once. So there really isn't a good way to do Process Builder on the parent record itself. However,
you could actually trigger your Process Builder off of the field that the roll-up is actually rolling up. Because with Process Builder, you now have the ability to do cross-object workflow, for lack of a better word, workflow, that you couldn't already do before. So now you can actually say, when my custom object changes, and this actually is rolled up on another custom object, you can have the workflow fire from the original change, not from wherever the roll-up is located.
Which means you could do two different things. You could either use the Process Builder to do whatever the functionality you wanted to that parent record when the roll-up summary changed, or you could update a field that's not on the page layout and have that actually be the edit for the parent record, which we call a different process for that particular object.
So long story short, you can't really do it, but there are workarounds.
Mark, I'm scared.
I've told you before, Brian, the microphone is not going to eat you.
No, there's someone else in our spacious recording studio.
Well, it's spacious because the studio itself is in the cloud. But yeah, no, you're right. Hey, we know you're here. Who are you and who do you work for?
My name is Chris Duarte, and I work for Salesforce.
Oh. Wow.
Oh, hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hi.
So thanks for joining us. This is our interview series we're calling Career Chatter. We want to learn more about the careers that involve Salesforce, be it at salesforce.com or maybe your partner, or maybe many people simply do not realize how many options there are in the Salesforce universe besides the traditional administrator and developer. So Chris has been very kind enough to be our first victim. So let's go ahead and ask our first question.
Not victim. Interviewee.
Interviewee. Right, interview. So, Chris, I understand you're the managing editor for Trailhead. What is a typical day like for working with Trailhead?
So, yes, I am managing editor for Trailhead. I've been in this role now for about 2 months, and my role is really all about ensuring that we've got great content, great quality content on Trailhead. If any of the listeners are not familiar with what Trailhead is, it's an online learning platform that's gamified and really fun. And the idea is that you learn about Salesforce while you're earning points and badges. And it's challenging, and you can learn all about how to use the platform. And so far, the community response to it has been really great. So my role on the team is I help with content strategy. I edit all of the content. I help us figure out what content we're going to put up next. and I help evangelize. So I'm on social and on the success community and on Twitter and all the wonderful places in our community, sharing about how awesome Trailhead is and trying to get more folks to check it out.
I'm curious, Chris, with the whole Catter video that you put out, how many people have you found have successfully managed to install Catter for their cats?
It's hard to know. We don't have those figures just yet, but adoption on the Catter module on Trailhead has been amazing. You might even say it's been possum or clawsome.
Oh gosh. So in all honesty, Chris, I have to say I haven't even gone the Trailhead yet at all.
And you know what? I hadn't until the whole Chatter thing. I've looked at it. No, I can't say I haven't done anything in it, but I have gone and looked at it. And the reason is just work. I really want to do the flow stuff and the process builder stuff because I know how crucial they are. I've sent people there. I've actually sent people as okay, you want to learn? This is where you go. Go to Trailhead. Go and I've heard nothing but awesome things, but it's just actually sitting down through it. It's like,
I hear that a lot. I hear that actually from a lot of folks that they really want to, but they have a hard time finding the time. So, one of the things we're doing, and maybe you'll like this, is we're starting this Trailhead Live kind of experience where we're piloting it in California first, where we're doing an event where you come in. It's like a longer user group meeting, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. Bring your laptop, and we do exercises together. We have technical experts on hand. We bring in food and drinks, and you can win prizes. And you do Trailhead Live with other folks in the room. It's a great.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're piloting it in California, and the idea is we want to enable the user group leaders, like you all, to be able to run this in your own user groups, to give your users a chance to get hands-on with Trailhead Live, and hopefully that'll be an excuse for both of you to check it out too.
Yeah, cool.
She sounds so well practiced in this. It's almost like she's been doing other podcasts.
I know, right? That's a word.
That's how you know I'm really laughing when I say
What would you recommend to any aspiring folks who would like to someday work with you or in your department?
To work specifically on Trailhead?
Yeah.
Or to work in developer marketing?
Either.
Both.
Or. Both. Let's go with both.
Well, so maybe I can share with you a little bit about my journey, and maybe that will illuminate at least how I got in this role. How about that?
Sure. Sounds good.
So I have a background in training and documentation. My very first job was at Disneyland Resort, where I wrote training and documentation for attractions and parking operations. So stuff like how you power up Indiana Jones or how you evacuate the Matterhorn, stuff like that. Then I went to a company called LegalZoom, and I did similar work there where I documented how you go about helping a customer who calls in, and documented how our systems worked at LegalZoom. So when I came to Salesforce, I actually started in Customers for Life, and I was working as a success manager where I was helping people figure out how to get the most out of Salesforce and boost their Salesforce adoption, which is great because I used Salesforce when I was at LegalZoom. But I had this, in the background, I had this training and documentation experience, which is why when I saw the role for Trailhead and when I saw Trailhead, I was really excited, and I thought, oh gosh, it would be so great if I got to use that background, and it's part of the reason why I wanted to go for this role. In terms of how I got the role, I think that my background helped, but I also think what helped is that I took an interest in developer marketing and developer relations from the time that I started working at Salesforce. And I started building relationships with people who worked in this department through social channels and by going and volunteering at events and getting really involved in user groups and making connections. And I think a lot of that
Salesforce likes to encourage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Being really active. Yeah, being active in the community. And so when I came in and applied for the job, I already knew a lot of the folks that I was talking with because I had been so active in the community.
Essentially, you have to act like a Salesforce employee before you become a Salesforce employee.
Yes, you do. And the connections part is huge. I think that's a big part of the reason I got the job is that I was so, connected with that group before I applied.
How else would you succeed at Salesforce and once you have that position? What's key there?
I think that, what I noticed when I was working at Salesforce and I was a remote employee is you have to actually work a little bit extra hard to get noticed. And Chatter is a great vehicle, a great tool for that at Salesforce. We're such heavy adopters of Chatter. So when I was remote, I would just share all the time things that I was working on. I would share my customer stories, like look at these great things I was doing with my customers. And I'd share about things that I was doing with the foundation, like, oh, look at this amazing team event that we did where we went and volunteered. And, self-promotion is something that doesn't come naturally to a lot of people. It feels like bragging sometimes, right? Like humble brag, hashtag
I have
brag.
a lot of trouble with that.
Yeah, I mean, we severely disapprove of self-promotion on this podcast.
That's right.
You got to do it, though. And, I think the key to doing it, and, I'm with you on that, Mark. I hear you that it's hard to do it. But the key to doing it is to make the story not about you, to make the hero of your story the customer, or the hero of your story the foundation, the charity that you worked with. If you make that the hero of your story, then it's less about you and it's more about you showcasing what else is going on.
So it's just basically telling the story. It's you relating what happened, and you just happen to be the person who made it happen.
It is, and you're the person who happens to be telling the story. And so I think the art of self-promotion is really important for your career, whether you're at Salesforce or anywhere else, but certainly at Salesforce. It's a very important thing.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense because people assume that everyone else is noticing what you're doing, and both the good things and the not so good things, when in reality, everyone's usually so busy with their own things, they don't take the time to really pay attention to detail of all the extra things that are going on.
That's right. The only way people are going to know about it is if you tell them. And I tweet a lot. And I was joking with a friend of mine the other day. I'm like, if I didn't tweet it, I don't know if it actually happened. I just love being able to share kind of what's happening, and share it with folks in the community.
I'm sorry,
Cool.
I'm having trouble getting past the fact that you used to write how to power up Indiana Jones. You wrote about it. I don't know. Brian, next question, please.
Mark is busy having a nerdgasm.
I am.
Will it impress you even more to know that I helped open Disney's California Adventure?
Oh, nice.
I had my hard hat and my vest.
Mark, focus.
Did the hard hat have ears on it? What? Okay. All
focus.
Right. All right, go on.
So I know working at Trailhead, it's pretty new for you, but what's been your favorite thing so far?
I love the team that I'm working with. The team that I'm working with is incredible. Just a really talented group of people. Sandeep and Lauren and Jacob, Adam Perkis, who I think you all know as a former MVP, Adam Seligman and Sarah Franklin, Jillian Medill and Mike Gerholt, and Chris Landy. Just such a really nice group of people that I've been partnering with. And, of course, I can't forget our world-class docs team that we partner with, Kim Shane and Pavi and Steve Anderson. We have just this incredible group of people who are working on Trailhead, and I'm just so delighted to be working with them. That's my favorite part, actually, is the team that I get to work with.
What's your least favorite part about working on Trailhead?
My least favorite part is that I wish we could go even faster. And we're actually going really fast. Every 2 weeks we're pushing content. But there's so much that we want to do. We want to do a nonprofit trail. We want to do trails for every product that we have. And I think that I wish that we could go even faster than we're going. And that's for me the hardest part.
All right.
Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks? That's crazy. Every 2 weeks.
And I don't want to commit to that. Where's my safe harbor? Where's Steve? Safe harbor for
safe
me.
Harbor. Safe harbor.
Thank you. I don't do a Boston accent very well.
We need a recording of him doing that so we can play it.
I don't want to commit to every 2 weeks. It's just been the pace that we've been going at since I joined the team. And we have a pretty good plan of things that are coming on a pretty much every 2 week schedule, new content.
So I hear that you can get badges and points on Trailhead, but the users really only seem to be interested in the badges.
Is that a question?
Yeah,
Brian,
is that true?
You didn't add a
I upped
question
at the end
word.
I upped at the end of my sentence.
Okay.
In spoken language, unless you're a teenager from
Inflection.
the 90s, that typically, that inflection means I asked a question.
Okay.
So, Chris, let me repeat that in the form of a Jeopardy question.
Okay.
What is so I know you can get badges and points on Trailhead, but I heard a rumor that the users really only care about the badges. Is that true?
I guess maybe I don't see it that way. I like getting as many points as possible, but maybe I'm just really competitive. I don't know.
Well, what do you do with those points?
Well, so here's the deal. You can get more points if you answer the multiple choice quizzes right the first time. Every time you redo a multiple choice quiz, you lose points. You get less. So
Gasp. Incentivization for correct doing it right the first time. Oh my God!
So remember, folks, if you're going to cheat the first time.
Yeah.
Well, and it's incentive for us to make sure the multiple choice questions are worded really well, which some of them we do need to go back and make some adjustments. Some aren't completely clear, and we've gotten that feedback from the community. So I want to thank all the folks in the community who've been giving us feedback. But I personally, I guess I'm just one of these people. I'm super competitive, so I like to get as many points as possible. But I like the badges too.
So you're giving out all these badges. Does this mean you're really setting up some sort of Salesforce scouts? Can I get a shirt with all the badges sewn on it?
Or a sash, a green sash.
We have talked about making, and I saw Kevin Foreman tweeting about this the other day. We have talked about turning the badges into actual patches.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been something we've been throwing around, possibly for Dreamforce. I don't know what we're going to end up doing just yet, but it is something we've thought about, making them into patches.
I want a catter patch.
That's what Kevin wanted too. Kevin said he wanted a catter patch.
So do you find that Trailhead is really helping people prepare themselves to go take the certification tests?
We've heard that from a few customers, that it was helpful for them to get hands-on with some of the concepts before they went and took the test. I always say, and I believe this in my heart, that there's no substitute for having an amazing instructor, and our Salesforce University instructors are the best. So if you're brand new and you're preparing for your certification, I encourage you to take a class through the university. That will really set you up very well for your certification. And then come to Trailhead when you're done. And it's just a great way to complement and augment that experience.
So, Mark.
So, Brian.
So at Trailhead, Chris is working on getting information that can help people get their Salesforce certifications. Are you pondering what I'm pondering?
I think so, Brian. But the Rockettes, they're all girls, aren't they?
No, I think Chris is going to be a perfect candidate for the Salesforce Certification Quiz Show! That's right, the Salesforce Certification Quiz Show. Quiz, Duarte, come on down.
This quiz should not be used in replacement of actual Salesforce certification tests. WizardCast does not claim their following questions or answers are necessarily accurate, correct, or funny. Play the Salesforce certification quiz at your own risk.
No.
So Mark will be acting as our judge and scorekeeper. Chris, what we're going to do is ask you 4 questions. If you get at least 3 correct, you'll win our prize. Tell her what she'll win, Mark.
Chris will go home with his coveted fancy I Survived the WizardCast Certificate of Excellence. Retail value $99.99.
Chris, are you ready?
Oh, no. Okay.
The following questions come from our It Rules library.
All right. So the answers are technically items in Salesforce. All the answers will be Salesforce related. Okay.
Like something like, object ownership or something like that? Is that where we're going with this?
Something like that, yes. But keep in mind that it has to follow the tip we gave, which the tip was again, Mark?
Okay.
It comes from our It Rules library of questions.
So Adam owns the family car, the house, and all the toys. He wants his family members to use his stuff because...
Sharing rule?
That's correct.
Sharing rules.
Yeah, you get extra points if you say it appropriately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. You're on the right track now, Chris.
Okay.
So question number 2. Tim is used to always being told when he's doing something wrong. You left a sock on the floor. You left your wallet on the bedstand. You're using too much dish soap. Finally, when Tim didn't screw up, he wished that a little voice would say something nice and supportive to him because...
Validation rule?
That's correct. 2 out of 2. You're on a roll.
Validation rules. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Question number 3. Aries always seems to take joy when things get out of hand.
Aries?
Yeah, he's the god of war.
Has there ever been a Salesforce quiz question where the person in the story was named Aries?
Hey, I was going for a theme here.
Okay.
Aries always takes joy when things get out of hand. Whenever political enemies battle, whenever the errant gun is shot, whenever the bomb is dropped. I'm pretty sure Aries, our god of war, thinks.
Like a battle rule? I don't know what that is. Okay. I don't know what
Mark,
that is.
what's the right answer?
The answer is escalation rules.
Escalation rule. Oh my gosh.
That was but thank you for the feedback. Now I know that question is not quite clear enough, and we'll rewrite it for the future.
Okay, great. All right. What's the last one?
The last question.
Last one.
Right?
The final question.
Okay.
Final question. Professor Tegan enjoys handing out homework to her teacher assistants to grade. She collects each piece of homework and gives it to a different teacher assistant based on where the homework came from, how long it is, and the grade level. Sometimes she'll give the same piece of homework to a group of TAs to figure out what to do with it. Professor Tegan is absolutely evil and believes that homework...
blank.
Is that a workflow rule?
Oh, so close.
So close.
So close. So close.
And the correct answer is, Mark?
Assignment rules.
Oh, assignment rules.
Oh, yeah. Elizabeth.
This game's a little hard, guys.
Well, that's
and
2 out of 4.
I'm pretty good at the puns. I am, but this one's a little tough.
This is like you might as well be in the cave with Gollum with these questions, dude. These are like riddles to the extreme here.
All right,
I got you had
50%.
fun.
Yeah, that's great.
50%. If it were a Salesforce certification, though. Okay, yes, give her a chance to get above that 65% for the certification.
Bonus question.
Oh,
all right.
Right.
This is in the same library, but it's also part of our singing questions, which we can't actually sing due to trademark and copyright law. So I will simply say the lyrics.
You can do a few notes.
No, I'll just say the lyrics.
Okay, right.
Chris, given her history at, we'll just say, a semi-famous park, may be able to pick up on this very quickly. So remember, it's in the rules library.
Okay.
Here's the musical question is hi-ho, hi-ho. It's off to...
work flow. This is the
That's
workflow
right.
rule?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Brian,
awesome.
that was terrible. And Chris, thank you so much for putting up with his horrible questions.
This is what happens when Mark leaves me alone to write the script all by myself.
Oh, never again.
All right.
But
so, Chris,
thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for joining us and telling us a little bit of what it's like to work for Salesforce on Trailhead.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
And thank you again for playing our quiz.
It was fun. Thank you.
Now it's time for our Salesforce video of the undetermined amount of time until the next one.
Because we have no idea if we're going to still be able to do this every single week, but we'll try.
We're trying. But that's the problem. Our wives tell us we are very trying.
Mark, you know how much I strongly disapprove of self-promotion on this podcast.
It is readily apparent to me how abhorrent we find the practice on a regular basis.
Well, our video comes from Shane McLaughlin, and it also stars Shane McLaughlin.
Wow, that's a hell of a coincidence that some guy named Shane McLaughlin would find a video out on the internet and would actually see, hey, this is a great video. I should submit this. It also happens to be done by a guy who is also called Shane McLaughlin. That's a 1 in a million shot.
Yeah, it's completely rare. In this video, it's actually a love ballad to the Lightning Process Builder.
A what? A love ballad?
Yes, a love ballad. You know, it's a romantic-style song, typically played with acoustic and vocals, to say how much someone loves something.
About Process Builder.
Yes, about the Lightning Process Builder.
All right, roll that beautiful beam footage. If you'd like to see the whole thing, you can go to the YouTube link, which is found in our show notes.
Where have you been all my life? I needed you here with me. I don't need all those workflows or those apex triggers. Lightning Process Builder. I met you in a Salesforce roadmap session.
WizardCast is produced by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, directed by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, technical administration by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, script writing by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, auto editing by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, website maintenance by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, Red Solo Cup solicitation by Brian Kwong and Mark Ross, and our intern this week was training.
Send us your interview questions, jokes, and tips to wizardcast@thewizardnews.com with the subject Tips and Jokes, or head over to thewizardnews.com/wizardcast_home and click Contact WizardCast.
Don't forget to subscribe to the WizardCast and receive our next episode automagically. Once again, I'm Brian.
And I'm Mark.
Thanks for listening. And don't forget to like and review us on iTunes.